This is an old fish camp, one of the originals, I think, before Isle Royale was designated a national park. I came here, for those that don't know, I have another series on my channel from like 3-4 years ago called The Big Lake They Call Gitchagumi, and I came over here and, I'm trying to do some different stuff on this trip, but one of the things I did do is I came here because this is a good place to kind of aim when you're coming over from the Keweenaw. It's right smack in the middle of the island. It's on the, south side of the island, and it's just kind of like, it takes all day the way I do it, so it's just a nice, kind of known place to aim at. And the bay here is so, is so well protected that you just know you're gonna, no matter what, you run into, if you can get here, you can ride anything out. That's most likely why they put a fish camp here, but so yeah, it's, seen better days, of course, but it's, all things considered, with the climate here, this place is, remarkably still standing for the most part. I mean, it's my deer camp probably in the next 5 or 10 years is going to look about like this too. So, though I do have a metal roof on my deer camp, but the foundation's kind of a piece of junk, but I'm working on that too. This place could certainly use a roof, but honestly, I don't think they have any intention of, salvaging this place or keeping it around. I think it's, once it caves in, it's just done for. I'll show you in a minute. There's one window you can kind of peek into to see the inside, but unfortunately they have, they boarded it up. It wouldn't be hard to get into, of course, but I'm not really into B&Es. If some place is open, of course I will go in, but if I gotta pry off boards or break a lock or something like that, I'm not so much into that anymore. Or the getting in trouble part. You can see that the porch is just about to cave in. I'm not sure if I even want to step up there, but if you look on the door there, it does say, no trespassing. I'm sure people used to go into it back in the day, and there might even be a camera around here or two. I mean, there's no power on this island that I know of, but who knows, man? There's cameras everywhere. I always just kind of now assume I'm like on a camera, even when I'm out here, not in a paranoid sort of way, but just kind of a attitude of like, we live in a surveillance state. All they're gonna see of me is in the morning getting naked and jumping in the lake, and if they do, I hope they enjoy it. There's one window here, guys. I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna try not to step on any nails. That wouldn't be fun. Let's see. You guys can probably kind of see in there. Hopefully you can. I'll try to make it focus. There's a couch right here. And it's like a table. I don't even know what that's like. Yeah, it's like a little bench. You're getting the reflection here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to but yeah, it's like, this window over here used to be able to look into it, but then they boarded that up. And there's all sorts of books in there. Some of them were in, I think, Finnish. I can actually, this window is cracked, so I can kind of pull this aside maybe and show you guys. There's some boxes, and it looks like someone's been in there since, a couple of years ago, and they've been kind of, I don't know, maybe taking stuff out. Maybe the family finally came up, or I don't know. If this was my heritage, I would certainly be proud. I think this is such a cool place. I'll just show you a couple more things here, guys. So you know, this camp here is just situated so perfectly. There's a back bay back here, and it does have some depth to it, enough to, you know, bring a boat in, you know, like even maybe a decent sized boat. I haven't tested it. There's like, you know, there's a little bar over here you have to get over that I think comes up to 5 or 6 feet, but you know, most boats will clear that. And then that bay, you know, the main bay here, this is almost like a horseshoe island, and that bay is really protected. And the back side, I don't know if you can see it, maybe I'll try to show you from the dock, but yeah, there's this little side bay. And then one more thing I'll show you here, guys. This is a beaver dam, and it's new from the last time I was here. It wasn't here a few years, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd say. And I can hear, last night I could hear that beaver slapping his tail all night. Probably heard it like 5 or 6 times. I'm pretty sure this was an outdoor kitchen, or I guess you'd call it a separate kitchen, because it has a stove in there, and there's some evidence of, like, you know, that's where they cooked. So, or maybe that's where they processed fish or something, but yeah. Show you guys a little something funny here. So I was kind of poking around, and I saw this can bubble up. I think this place was being used as its intended use up until maybe the 50s or 60s is my guess. Here's a part of the original dock. It was actually concrete. And I'm pretty sure the Park Service probably put this dock in. And yeah, I was going to show you guys something. So this is the entrance of the bay, is right here. And then it goes way back there, and it has depth, 5 or 6, or no, I'm more than that, like 10, 11, 12 feet of depth right up till the very end back there. And then just right over those trees, right over those trees. It's just a very small sliver of land, and then there's another bay that faces towards the lake, or towards Siskiyou Bay, that's almost as big as this one. So this is a really odd shaped island, kind of like a horseshoe, but the way it's almost like an atoll. It's like a northern atoll, you know, like you might see in the South Pacific or something. And you know, it has almost perfect 360 weather protection, other than just if there was like a perfect, you know, a perfect storm, like the book, like the movie, that was coming in, you know, from that direction and just blasting this way. So yeah, I really like kind of trying to read the land, and I notice when I'm out here on these adventures, after a few days, I start to, you know, understand, like for example, this is a point that sticks out, and there's a rock shelf that comes out, you know, and this is only 2 or 3 feet deep out there, and then eventually it gains depth. And so, you know, as an easy one, most people probably know this, but as a point comes out, you know, it doesn't just stop usually at the water line. It, you know, it continues on under the water. And so once you learn how to read the land a little bit, you know, it can keep you out of trouble. Even though out here in Isle Royale, you can get yourself in trouble really easy.